In the name of his only begotten and anointed Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, who was our strength and our Redeemer, and our light and our salvation. All right, with that, Mashanah Kabawadim Lahasaquanium, Shalagadabar, which is double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, the true shepherds of Israel, pushing the sound doctrine of faith, truth, and sincerity. All right, within the four, within the main area that are based out of in New York. All right, along with the rest of the sincere Akim. All right, of the house of David. All right, the Bayasha Dawadah, the 144,000, elect the governing body, the house of David, scattered across the four corners as well. And with that, Mashanah Kabawadim Lahasaquanium Shalagadabar Rakab. All right, which is once again double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. All right, the true shepherds of Israel. All right, with that, Mashanah Kabawadim Lahasaquanium Shalagadabar Rakab. All right, once again, can't say it enough. All right, and with that, Shalom, honor, and salutations to Bayasha Dawadah, the house of David. And shalom to the rest of the one-third elect men, women, and children of Israel. It's your fellow servant Malak Rayal is back at it again. Another biblical lesson through the spirit of prophecy, being a testimony of our Lord and Savior Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the master of the world ignorantly refers to Jesus Christ. And then this just another prophetic update on the whole proxy war situation down in Ukraine, on how Russia has been involved in the headlines as of recently within a couple of articles, a couple of tightening his grip on the eagle, spoken about in the book of Obadiah and similar other precepts, which is a representation of America, man, Babylon the Great, being that the eagle is the vilest of his species, of the fowls of the air, or in this case, the fowls of the air, okay? In regards to these birds and whatnot, being the eagle, all right, the golden eagle, the bald eagle is the vilest of all of the fowls of the air, man. Symbolic to the Edomites, all right, the so-called Caucasian race and their Idumean council, man, and how they have been running a very vile, corrupt regime. Especially since they came over here, they journeyed over here to the New World, man. All right, and a part of their alliance, okay, included Russia. Okay, so it's ironic how they once fought alongside in World War II as a part of the Allied powers, alongside UK, all right, which is considered the mother of America, France, and the USSR. All right, now they're at odds with each other, man. Now there's a rift between them. Why? Because, like it says in Saint Mark the 3rd chapter, all right, Satan, okay, wasn't to stand, being that his empire was to crumble, man. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and bring us, these news headlines, all right, and filter everything through biblical prophecy and Lord willing to further edifying and exhorting to the elect. All right, so I'm going to get this first article on Kron Salaki. This is on entrepreneur.com. It says Russia fulfills threat and cuts off gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria as tension rises. And Poland and Bulgaria are two NATO allies. All right. So what Russia is doing, going into, the prophecy in Isaiah 13:17, Jeremiah 51:11. All right. Ezekiel the 38th chapter, how Russia was to be used by the Heavenly Father. Okay, otherwise biblically known as the modern day king of the Medes, all right, to further wage war on a whore that sits upon many waters, and that's America, Babylon the Great. Okay, all right, which is of that eagle, in the book of Obadiah. Okay, that same eagle that the wicked nation, is further symbolic of in Genesis, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 48 to 49. And how this strange nation was to sail across, to sail over to the side of the world, all right, to conquer the nation of Israel. Okay, all right, those who were under the curses in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy were the same nation that were enslaved, oppressed, and afflicted by the the proverbial eagle. All right, which is the Edomites. All right, on behalf of the West. Okay. All right. The scoundrel, the violent, corrupt nation, the violent, corrupt government, all right, through this Western philosophy and foreign policy, man. All right. So It says back here in an article, in the headline, Russia fulfills threat and cuts off gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria as tension rises, as he had already warned President Vladimir Putin in conditions the delivery of gas to payment in rubles and in Russian banking institutions. The conflict, so jumping down here to the point, it says, today the Russian gas distribution company Gazprom announced that it will stop supplying gas to Poland and Bulgaria as of this Wednesday, April 27th. So, as soon as Russia got kicked out of SWIFT, all right, that global national system, all right, that global national communication system, all right, that further catapulted their development of their own independent, payment structures on behalf of their BRICS Union Alliance, with Brazil, India, China, and South Africa, along with their own independent ruble flow currency system. That's why these oil assets, all right, or the funding of these oil assets were to be distributed through what's called MOEX, or the Moscow Exchange, on behalf of Gazprom, through the Gazprom Bank, for those friendly nations that would be willing to trade for Russian energy through the petro ruble, man, which is gaining further leverage, man, and doing pretty well against the petrodollar, and all by design, because these wicked central bankers are behind, this agenda, okay? Because like that worldly saying goes, all wars are bankers' wars, man. Like Michael Rivero, was known for saying, back in the 2000s, all right, the early to mid 2000s, all right, in which the concept of all bankers' wars, all wars being banking wars, goes back to the influence of King George, the rule of King George III during the American Revolution, all right, in the 1760s, all right, where they passed the Currency Act, all right, to deter away from the regulation of paper currency, man, all right, for them to establish their own independent currency through the pound, the British pound. That's why the British pound is used in the UK today, all right, and then following that date, you had the Legal Tender Act in 1862, all right, that was passed to officially establish this monetary system, man, okay, which was to regulate a paper currency as a national currency, man, all right, otherwise known as a debt-based currency, the fractional reserve-based currency, man. So that further confirms through the secular history of Esau Edom, that this is all been about power and control, man. All right, controlling people through resources. All right, and that greed is going to cause this world to see this last world's war, man, which is all prophesied in the scriptures, man. All right, so I'm going to get this first precept before I continue. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 12. See where I'm gonna start. All right, Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 21. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth? All right, so you've had the spirit of Jake, putting off the coming of the day of the Lord, man. All right, not having faith in the counsel of the Lord, and to stand sure and come to pass. Like how Shai mentioned, woe unto those, roughly paraphrasing, woe unto those who delay his Lord, their Lord's coming. So there's nothing new under the sun. You've always had prophets, okay, with faint hearts that have always, ultimately delayed the Lord's coming, man, because it was always prophesied, even going back to the Old Testament, that the Messiah, Hamashiach Yahushua, would return, all right, to bring salvation upon his people, like he was born to do, pursuant to St. Matthew 1:21. But before that was to transpire, certain events were to transpire, man, all right, including these ending prophecies, man, all right, rumors of wars that we're currently in, that is going to transition over to this last world's war, Harmageddon, in Revelation, the 16th chapter, quickly, all right, famine, pestilence, okay, famine of the word, which is why China been burning. I believe they've been burning churches, man, burning Bibles. I'm gonna have to do a lesson on that out on Ratazar tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know. So you have all these ending prophecies come to pass, man. All right, to further confirm what the downfall of this beast system. All right, and its paradigm shift over to a righteous rulership, which is the saints ruling, man. Okay, under Hamashiach, Yahushua, and King David. Okay, so this is Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 22. Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth? Tell them therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. So we're now witnessing the effect of every vision, man. You see? All right, Shalom to Akim Akwat on the comment board. All right, Yahweh Shemeshah Barakatham. All right, so we're actually within that time, man. Now let's go look up this word proverb real quick. All right, Book of Ezekiel 12. All right, as soon as this loads up, man. Satan got the phone moving slow. Slakia. All right, so all right, so you look up this word proverb. Give me 1 second, Baba Kasha. Yeah, this ain't Satan. I don't know what to tell you, man. It never does this shit. See? And number Satan. Give me 1 second, Baba Kasha. What I'll do, I'll just look it up manually. All right, give me 1 second, Baba Kasha. All right, so they said number Satan, man. It wasn't, the phone wasn't moving this slow before I started the lesson. Slaki, give me 1 second. And I got it on the charger too, through the spirit. Give me 1 second, Baba Shah. All right, so all right, one moment, Baba Kasha. Un momento, like they say in Spanish. All right, here we go. Salakia. So, yeah, so the Hebrew word there for proverb is masal. All right. We're going to get that real quick. If I can. All right, man. I just disregard that, you know, for the sake of time. Fucking Satan is playing games. But, yeah, but basically, yeah, so proverb is like a tale or a piece of truth. I was just looking to get the actual Hebrew word for it because things in the Hebrew, you know, exert more force. All right. But, yeah, so it's a Hebrew word, masal. So yeah, so it goes into, the meaning of proverb, which is a parable. All right. Or a poem, all right? So it's like a dark saying that only the elect can understand, all right? And so going back to Proverbs, it's like Ezekiel 12 and 23, tell them therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, or a parable, okay? But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision, all right? Because before it's all said and done, all right, knowledge would increase in the earth, like it says in the book of Daniel. Further tear down strongholds and stumbling blocks, ultimately by exposing the wicked. All right, the epitome of wickedness, and that's Esau Edom. All right, and that's why, you know, his rulership is being compromised, okay, by the bear, all done by design, by Yahweh, by Shemeshai. All right, through these Amalekite bankers and their constituents, man. All right, and that's why you had going back to this article, all right, because you had Russia cut off gas to two NATO allies and what do you call it? To Poland and Bulgaria, and then you also had the Bear recently ramp up attacks on Ukraine rail lines to thwart NATO arms shipments. So basically, they were attacking. They ended up striking at least 6 railway stations and facilities to prevent U.S. and NATO from distributing weapons into Ukraine, man. Because it already came out that the U.S. and NATO had been behind that war down in Ukraine, as opposed to the Western media proposing that it was the Ukraine army, you know what I'm saying, going to war with Russia down there, man. All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and touch base on that in a second. But you had that situation. You also had Putin threaten the West with quote unquote lightning fast strikes, all right, on those who want to intervene in the Ukraine war, you know, in regards to outside forces, man. So meaning what? The Bear, as in Russia, is further strengthening their grip on the eagle, man. Okay, which they're finding gaining leverage, all done by design. Okay, because the Petro ruble was essentially nothing before sanctions started being slapped on the Russian government by the West. Okay, permitted by the central bankers, ultimately permitted by Yahweh Shemeshai, okay, to use the devices against the crafty to befall themselves, man. Okay, including their own former European counterparts, being that America and Russia were once allies, man. All right, so getting back to the main article. All right. All right, so it says, last Friday, the President Vladimir Putin signed a decree by means of which it was established that the enemy countries of Russia that consume gas must pay for it in rubles, opening bank accounts in the country's institutions. The measure aims to counteract the economic sanctions and the exchange of goods imposed by the West since the conflict began. Unlike Canada and the United States, the countries of the European Union depend on Russia for the gas they consume. It is estimated that between 30 and 40% of the gas used in Europe is Russian, and it's not easy to get another supplier country from one day to the next. And that's why Bulgaria gets about 90% of their gas from Russia, and Poland gets about 45% of their gas from Russia. You see, so it's not an easy thing to replace that source of energy when you rely on it for heating your industries, man. Okay. You know, so that's why gas and energy is being used as a major commodity, all right, to further back the Russian ruble, which is why Putin is further looking to or further entertaining the idea of backing the Petro ruble with gold, man. Okay, and that's why when you think about Saudi Arabia and the Israeli government and supporting the Petro yuan, okay, on behalf of top ally of Russia being in China, that's further strengthening the ties of Russia and China, man. All right, because China controls the major railroad, the major railways down there in the east through the Belt and Road Initiative. All right, then you have these other, these friendly nations or these friendlier nations supporting these rival currencies of the petrodollar. Okay, which is ultimately contributing to this global collapse. Okay, all conspired and devised and concocted by the wicked central bankers, being that what? All wars are bankers' wars, man. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this next precept in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, start from the top. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, and that's this Edomite confederacy. All right, and their European conglomerate allies, man, including NATO and EU. All right. It says, Revelation 13:2, here's a point. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And this dragon that gave this beast the power is that serpent, man. All right, the same serpent spoken about in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. The spirit, that serpent spirit of Esau, Edom. All right, that conniving, subtle, vile spirit, man. Okay, that is not. That's why Habakkuk 2:4 says his spirit is not upright in him, man. So much the fact that his own allies are turning on him, man. All right, that's why you have Poland, leaning towards purchasing gas through the Petro ruble, along the likes of Bulgaria, okay, who are in the midst of the talks of drilling oil, all right, on behalf of Russia, all right, and Slovakia, okay. Then you got the likes of Nexit, as in the Netherlands, all right, and their further rift against the West on behalf of the Eagle, all right. You got Frexit, the talks of Frexit on behalf of France, another top NATO ally. All right. And you got Polexit, as in Poland. And then Poland was in one of the most recent global headlines as of today in regards to being cut off by Russia. You see? So once again, Russia, as in the bear, is gaining leverage over the eagle, man. That's gonna further cause this last world's war, all right, to further catapult, man. All right. Revelation 13:2 again, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. All right, so that feet of the bear of this beast is a reference to Russia, man. Okay, which is also symbolic of the end of this Edomite confederacy, because the Heavenly Father, okay, is going to use Russia, all right, to further bring down this eagle and their European, alliance, man. All right. So I'm going to get the book of Obadiah. All right. I'm starting at verse, let me see, Salakia. The point is in verse 7. All right. Let me see where I'm going to start. All right. The book of Obadiah, I'm going to start at verse 3. The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. Because, that's further symbolic of Esau, Edom, what I'm saying, exalting himself above the world, man. Okay? That's why it says, that's why it says in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, how he would proclaim himself to be God, all right, amongst the world, man, all right. And that was his vision the entire time when he sailed over here to the so-called New World, okay, all right, to conquer a land, all right, to conquer this so-called New World, all right, so that he could further sit in a position of God on the earth, pursuing 2 Thessalonians 2:4. All right, and that's why all this global commotion and contention is transpiring right now, because what this devil has conspired, man. Okay, devised and concocted behind closed doors. All right, Obadiah verse 5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? And we're jumping down to verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Okay, and Russia was once at peace with America, or when they were once allies, under the Allied Powers alliance. All right, back in the mid 1940s, man. Okay. It says, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right. And those who once sat at his table, all right, breaking bread with him. Okay. All right. I have laid a wound under him, man. All right. Including the snares they have set. Okay. That have been set against them in regards to these devices. Okay. All right. Including narratives behind these media outlets and whatnot. All right, these tools of geo-economical wars, such as sanctions and whatnot. All right, you see, so there's just a part of the bear, further putting the squeeze on the eagle, man. All right, which further confirms that America you know what I'm saying, is the further embodiment of that eagle, because eagle is also a symbolic of oppression, going back to ancient Egypt, and then which predates the pagan Greco-Roman Empire, which within the Greek Empire, they had the eagle, you know what I'm saying, further symbolic of their rulership. Okay, their oppressive and afflicting rulership, you know what I'm saying, over the masses, man. And that's also why in the book of Daniel speaks about how he would, he would have, it refers to this beast, this fourth beast empire, as in the pagan Greco-Roman Empire, all right, specifically referring to Rome, you know what I'm saying, as that beast with iron teeth, okay, and the iron teeth was symbolic of their weaponry, man, all right, that, including them iron weapons that were used, them iron swords, okay, because the sword is a self-proclaimed white man's blessing, you see. And now, ironically, they're further furbishing the sword, to utilize this blessing, all right, which is going to cause mass destruction, man, all right. Obadiah verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right, so I'm going and jump back to Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7. All right, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, and that wine is that Western philosophy and foreign policy of Babylon the Great. All right, which is why within this article here, to further fulfill this prophecy, says Putin threatens lightning fast strikes on those who want to intervene in a war. All right, says Russian President Vladimir Putin has responded to Western threats with a threat of his own, stating that the Russian army is prepared to deliver lightning fast strikes with strategic weapons. All right, and so it says Vladimir Putin, speaking to Russian parliamentarians in St. Petersburg, said if someone decides to intervene in current events in Ukraine from the outside and creates unacceptable strategic threats for Russia, then they must know that our response, our retaliatory strikes, will be lightning fast, quick. We have all the tools for this, such that no one else can boast of right now. All right, and we won't brag. We will use them if needed. All right. So this is back in Jeremiah 51 and 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. Or she cannot be healed, man. All right, because that wound that's been laid underneath her, pursuing Obadiah the 7th verse, cannot be healed, man. All right, by way of how that wound, by way of how she has contributed to her own self-inflicted wound. Like they say in the world, self-inflicted wounds are always the worst. Okay, and that's why it says in Apocrypha, if he's evil to himself, how can he do good to anybody else? Roughly paraphrasing. That's why this devil is diabolical and detrimental to his own existence, and he must be removed out of power and ultimately destroyed, man. And that's exactly what the end game is going to be, pursuing in Revelation 20th chapter. All right. So back in Jeremiah 51 and 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own way. Asakia, and let us go everyone into his own country. Okay, and that's what certain NATO and EU allies are doing, i.e. Poland, Bulgaria, okay, and mainly Poland, all right, France, the Netherlands, Germany. Oh, speaking of which, there's another, to further, speak on the further fulfillment of this prophecy, just recently had Germany, okay, finally cave in, all right, to supporting Russian gas not being supported in the East. So let me go ahead and get on that, bring out an article on that real quick. All right. Slovakia. All right. So it's on Zero Hedge. It says Germany supports gradual EU ban on Russian oil as Moscow rejects gas payment from seized trading union. says that as the EU attempts to impose unity amid the still fast escalating gas for ruble standoff and potential full-blown energy crisis, Germany has said for the first time it is ready to back a gradual ban on Russian oil. You see that? So now they're finally caving under pressure. Now, it's kind of ironic, you know what I'm saying, because I was touching base on this in the lesson I did, you know, going into how the European hegemony, you know, is further dwindling, it's further collapsing, man, on how you had Germany, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, and mentioned how he had defended his administration's reluctance to supply heavy weapons to Ukraine to avoid the threat of a nuclear war. Right now, all of a sudden, he's changed his tune. Now, you know, he's finally, you know what I'm saying, on behalf of Germany, have finally agreed to back a gradual ban on Russian oil and supply Ukraine with the weapons. You see, because the stage is being set for these nations to choose whose side they're going to fight on, man. Okay. All right, because why? Pursuing St. Matthew 10:34, Yahweh Shai came to bring a sword. He come to bring peace to the wicked, because there's no peace to the wicked, like it says in Isaiah 48:21. All right, he came to divide the nations, man, and to separate the sheep from the goats, pursuing St. Matthew 25 and 31 and 32. All right, so this is more major news in regards to the the further plummeting of this European hegemony on behalf of the eagle and her angels, and all right, and her allies. Angels as in messengers, man. Okay, in regards to those who are conglomerate with her, man. All right. So here's the other article. It says Russia ramps up attacks on Ukraine rail lines to thwart NATO arms shipments. It says Russia ramps up attacks on Ukraine rail lines to thwart NATO arms shipments. The Russian military is ramping up efforts to thwart Western arms deliveries into Ukraine on Monday, striking at least 6 railway stations and facilities. In a statement late in the day, that Russian Minister of Defense confirmed it attacked the locations, including taking out train tracks and transport lines, as they were being used to supply Ukrainian forces with foreign weapons. See? You know, so now they're just you know, the evil in the hearts of the wicked are further increasing, like it goes into in Ezekiel 28 and Ezekiel 28 and 10. All right. This is Jeremiah 51 and 10. The Lord Yahweh had brought forth our righteousness. I'm sorry, let me finish in verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth into heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord Yahweh had brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our power. Here's a point in Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh had raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, okay, which are the Russians, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. You see, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, this report, this further rumor of war, all right, in regards to this, this war report, all right, reported today, where you have Putin threatening quote unquote lightning fast strikes, okay, all right, through strategic weapons against the West, is a further fulfillment of this prophecy, man. Because this is an omen, all right, that is a further fulfillment, that's going to be a further fulfillment of this prophecy, where Russia, all right, will shoot their ICBMs, all right, and their missiles over here, including their Satan II model, you know what I'm saying, their hypersonic missiles, along with China, all right, or they can reach here in about 20 minutes to half an hour, man. Going to, the first fulfillment of Revelation 18 chapter, where it says that Babylon the Great will be destroyed in less than 1 hour, man. Okay, it's likely to be destroyed in 1 hour. Okay, you see, so these war drums are beating louder and louder. All right, this war is not going to come before these devils make this CHIP mandatory. Okay, then this World War III algorithm. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to all right, Ezekiel 38 from the top. All right, Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1 says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. All right, which Gog is a reference to Russia. all right, where that geographical location that once belonged to Japhet, that was taken over by them Russian Edomites, all right. Ezekiel 38:4, and I would turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I would bring thee forth. And the Lord has put the hooks into the jaws of the bear. And that's why the bear is ramping up, man. The bear is becoming, the bear is becoming that much more formidable to her foes, you know, in regards to these unfriendly countries, okay, including the West and their NATO allies, along with the G7, the G7 countries, man, all right, in which you know, those countries includes France, Germany, Canada, Italy, the UK, and the US. Okay, all enemies to Russia. Those are those unfriendly countries that are being forced, all right, to purchase Russian energy through Russia's new payment structure, new developed payment structure, man. All right. So back in Ezekiel 38:4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So, you know, Russia's going to have a great company, man. All right. Which is going to go into, is going to list some of these nations, man. Persia, verse 5. Persia, which is Iran. All right. Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer, okay, and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the North Quarters, which is going into the reference of Turkey. And that's why Turkey is leaning more towards joining the BRICS Union over NATO. And that's why Turkey over the years has been known, or they've been, you know, they've been in the headlines for purchasing Russian weapons and defense models. And that's for the angered the West, and which is why they have been slapping sanctions on Turkey within the last few years. All right, because we're seeing we're seeing the division of the 10 toes amongst this beast system, man. Okay, and the Heavenly Father is further using Russia to further aid into that division. Okay, all right, you know, to bring the division of this beast empire, man. All right, mainly on behalf of the West. All right. So back in Ezekiel 38 and 6, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the North Quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guarded to them. And that's exactly what Russia's doing, and that not only being a guard to them militarily, but geopolitically and geoeconomically. All right, especially on behalf of their further developed a payment structure, you know, through the Russian ruble flow payment structure, man. Okay, on behalf of Gazprom, all right, being used as a top oil producer of Russia that Europe, all right, predominantly relies on in regards to energy. Okay, all right, that are predominantly bound down before Russia, okay, to trade, you know what I'm saying, for Russian energy, okay, in exchange for the petro ruble, or the purchasing of the petro ruble, okay, all right, through the Moscow exchange, through the Gazprom bank, man. All right, you know, all further developed by the intricacies of war, of the man of war, like it says in Exodus 15:3. All right, the Most High Yahweh. You see, you know, because he is the inventor of war. You see, so he has controlled this entire thing, man. Okay, you know, this was all predestinated, man. All right, and we're seeing his counsel come to pass, like it spoke about in Ezekiel, the 12th chapter. You know, Habakkuk 2 and 3, how that vision was to be for an appointed time, and it would no longer tarry, man. You see, he's no longer prolonging. Now these prophecies are screaming off the pages, man. You know, so we get closer and closer. You know what I'm saying? As time continues to speed up, you know what I'm saying, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this devil's rulership. And we're finally getting ready to see the downfall of the scoundrel, okay? You know, of the fowler. Okay, the vile and profane one, he who is not upright in his heart. So much so that, once again, you know, he is further causing a rift between his own counterparts, man. That's gonna further catapult this last world's war. Okay, because all wars are you know, all wars are bankers' wars, man. You know, or in this case, economically based. You know, off of greed, off of covetousness and lasciviousness, man. Lustful desires of the flesh. You see, and that's why back in 1862, when they really established this monetary system, they regulated paper currency by making it the national currency, man. Until 1913, where they signed the Federal Reserve Act, all right, officially controlling the masses through a debt-based system, okay, which is another way that Rome fell, and this is how modern day Rome is going to fall, okay, purposely depreciating the value of a currency, all right, to justify the downfall of an empire, okay, for greedy purposes, and that's foolish, man. But see, this is why this Fred Golden, why this devil needs to be destroyed, okay, because he's destroying the earth by way of his own greedy intentions, man. Okay, of maintaining that God complex over the earth under the guise of so-called white supremacy. All right, so I'm not going to make this too much longer. That was pretty much the point. Just a little, relatively quick, prophecy update on, saying the whole proxy war down in Ukraine, how the wicked elite central bankers are using this, to further bring forth this agenda, and that's why you had that company. What was that company, man? It was I think it was like a British Polish based company that was pushing the Kadagma, okay, something with a W, but matter of fact, yeah, but anyway, so you got the likes of these secret satanic councils, all right, being further used, by the wicked elite to bring forth this agenda, man, okay, including Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, all right, which why it's not coincident that Elon Musk took over Twitter a few days after Obama had called for censorship, man. See, so these ministers of Satan are being used as puppets, including this devil, the general, the coon nigga, I forget his name, but he mentioned how Russia needs to be eliminated in so many words, Now they're further pushing out that narrative that Russia, is a minister society, man. Okay, to further justify the Hegelian dialectic, tactic of their agenda. Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to end this off, and all right, so I'm going to end this off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 13, verse